Hello friends, welcome back to India for IAS. This is Manjunath Mudod. Topic of this video is Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code. This topic can be studied under GS2 paper Salient Features of Indian Constitution Directive Principles of State Policy topic. In this video, we are going to study about what is Uniform Civil Code, why it is in use, what are the existing personal laws instead of Uniform Civil Code, constitutional provisions with respect to Uniform Civil Code, Uniform Civil Code in Goa, benefits of Uniform Civil Code, and challenges in implementing the Uniform Civil Code, about Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code, concerns and experts' opinion with respect to Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code, one prelims practice question based on the topic. Recently, Uttarakhand government enacted Uniform Civil Code bill for its state residents. So the question arises, what is Uniform Civil Code? India is a multi-religious nation. In India, we have different religions like Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Jains, and Buddhists. So these different communities have different personal laws concerning marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption. So because of this, there is a fragmented nature of personal laws governing interpersonal relationship within different religious communities. This fragmented nature of personal laws causing hindrance to the national integration and secularism. It is also causing obstacle to the gender justice and equality in the society. So simplification and rationalization of this personal law system is imperative for ensuring national integration, secularism, and gender justice. The solution is Uniform Civil Code. So, Uniform Civil Code is a single law applicable to all religious communities in India with respect to personal matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, and adoption. Now, we will look into the existing laws on marriage and divorce in India. We have different personal laws for different religions. For Hindus, we have Hindu Marriage Act 1955, Indian Christian Marriage Act for 1972 for Christians, Indian Divorce Act 1869 for divorce, Parsi Marriage and Divorce Act 1936 for Parsis, uncodified Shariat Muslim law. So these are the different personal laws with respect to marriage and divorce in India. On the other hand, we have Special Marriage Act 1954. The marriages which doesn't fall under personal law category can be registered in Special Marriage Act 1954. Then we have different Muslim laws which govern Muslim marriages and divorce, like Dissolution of Muslim Marriage Act, Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Marriage Act 2019, Muslim Women Protection of Rights on Divorce Act 1986, and Uncodified Shariat Muslim Law. Now we will look into the existing laws on parent-child relations in India. So with respect to natural guardianship, father is considered as a natural guardian and mother is considered as a custodian. So with respect to court-appointed guardianship, Guardians and Wards Act 1890 governs the court-appointed guardianship with respect to parent and child relations in India. Adoption in India governed by Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act 1956 for religious communities like Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs. On the other hand, Juvenile Justice Act 2015 applicable to everyone regardless of their religion. The Juvenile Justice Act 2015 is a secular law with respect to adaptation because it is applicable to everyone regardless of their religion. Now we will look into the constitutional provisions with respect to Uniform Civil Code in India. Article 44 of the Constitution talks about Uniform Civil Code in India. So this article says that it is the responsibility of the state to secure a uniform civil code for all citizens throughout the country. This article is listed under Directive Principles of State Policy as mentioned in Part 4 of the Constitution. As we all know that Directive Principles of State Policies are non-justiciable in nature, meaning they are not enforceable by any court in India. However, they serve as a fundamental guidelines for governance in India. So these principles, that is directive principles, encompass the ideals that the state should follow while formulating policies and enacting laws for the country. The framers of the Constitution could not arrive at a consensus on uniform civil code despite debating it extensively. So they made it a directive principles of state policy under non-justiciable part of the Constitution. Before Uttarakhand enacting Uniform Civil Code, the only state in India which had Uniform Civil Code is Goa. So we will briefly study about the Uniform Civil Code in Goa. Goa was colonized by Portuguese, so they enacted Portuguese Civil Code 1867 during colonial times. So, despite India's annexation of Goa in 1961, Portuguese Civil Code continued to be enforced throughout the territory of Goa. So, it is applicable to all residents of the Goa, regardless of their religious or ethnic background. Now, we will look into the benefits of Uniform Civil Code. So, what benefits as a nation and state we are going to enjoy if we implement Uniform Civil Code throughout the territory of India? Uniform Civil Code promotes common identity. So, it fosters national integration and secularism by creating a common identity and a sense of belonging among all the citizens. Uniform Civil Code also helps in reduction of conflicts. So it mitigates the communal and sectarian conflicts arising from different personal laws. It upholds the constitutional values like equality, fraternity, and dignity for all. Uniform Civil Code helps in ensuring gender justice and equality between men and women. It ensures gender justice and equality by eliminating discrimination and oppression faced by women under various personal laws. Under the present existing personal laws for different religions, the woman rights with respect to marriage, divorce, inheritance are differ in nature. Because of this, women are being oppressed, and there is no gender equality between men and women in the matters related to marriage, divorce, inheritance of property, adaptation, etc. So, because of these reasons, the women are being oppressed, and there is a gender inequality and gender injustice in India. So, by implementing Uniform Civil Code, we can ensure gender justice and equality. Uniform Civil Code also helps in simplification and rationalization of the legal system by removing complexities and contradictions of multiple personal laws. Uniform Civil Code also harmonizes civil and criminal laws. It addresses anomalies and loopholes arising from different personal laws, thus enhances the accessibility and understanding for the common people. It also modernizes and reforms the outdated and regressive practices prevalent in some personal laws. It upholds the human rights by eliminating practices which violate the human rights and constitutional values such as triple talaq, polygamy, child marriage, and many other social issues. Despite having so many benefits, implementing Uniform Civil Code in India is challenging one because of the following reasons. The first one is diverse personal laws and customary practices. India's diverse religious, cultural, and traditional landscape results in a plethora of personal laws and customs governing civil matters. So, these laws and practices vary widely across regions, sects, and groups, posing challenge in finding common ground and uniformity. In addition to this, many personal laws are not codified, relying on oral and written sources that are often ambiguous and contradictory. The second challenge is resistance from religious and minority groups in India. The religious and minority groups perceive Uniform Civil Code as an infringement on their religious freedom and cultural autonomy. They argue that Uniform Civil Code may violate their constitutional rights under Article 25, guaranteeing the freedom of conscience and religious practice. The third challenge is lack of political will and consensus. There is a lack of political will and consensus among government, legislature, judiciary, and civil society stakeholders to initiate and implement Uniform Civil Code. Apprehensions exist that Uniform Civil Code implementation may provoke communal tensions and conflicts. The fourth challenge is practical difficulties and complexities with respect to implementation of Uniform Civil Code. Implementing Uniform Civil Code necessitates drafting, codifying, harmonizing, and rationalizing various personal laws and practices. This requires extensive consultation and participation of stakeholders, including religious leaders, legal experts, and women's organizations. Robust enforcement mechanisms and awareness campaigns are essential to ensure compliance and acceptance of Uniform Civil Code by the society. Now we will look into the key points related to Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code. This code aims to standardize personal laws across religions, promoting equality and uniformity in civil matters. This code covers areas such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, and live-in relationships. Coming to the applicability of the Uniform Civil Code in Uttarakhand, the Uniform Civil Code applies to all residents of the Uttarakhand with an exception. The bill does not apply to the tribal community, which constitutes around 3% of the state population. The tribal community has been opposed to the Uniform Civil Code since its inception. So, Section 2 of the bill explicitly states that it shall not apply to members of any scheduled tribes who are residing in Uttarakhand. The Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code regulates the live-in relationship in the following manner. It provides for compulsory registration for heterosexual couples regardless of their residency. They must register their live-in relationship with a statement to the concerned registrar, and even upon the termination of the relationship, the couple must inform the registrar. The registrar conducts the summary inquiry to ensure that the relationship does not fall under prohibited categories as outlined in section 380, and the registrar must decide within 30 days, and if the registration is refused, he should convey the reasons for the same. The code also provides for maintenance provision for live-in relationship. A woman deserted by her live-in partner is eligible to claim maintenance. The code also talks about penalties for non-registration of live-in relationship. Couples failing to register their live-in relationship within a month may face penalties. This includes a jail term of up to 3 months, a maximum fine of up to 10,000 or both. Providing false information attracts the same jail term but with a higher fine of 25,000 or both. The Uttarakhand Civil Code also abolishes the illegitimate child concept. The code extends legal recognition to children born to those who are in live-in relationships. The Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code prohibits bigamy and polygamy. The section 4 of the code sets conditions for valid marriage, and it says that at the time of marriage both the parties should not have a spouse. The code maintains the minimum age of marriage as per the existing regulations. It does not change the minimum age for marriage, both for men and women. The existing minimum age for marriage for men is 21 years and women is 18 years. The Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code also has a provision for compulsory registration of marriages. The code says that marriages should be registered within 16 days of the marriage, and this registration requirement is compulsory to those marriages that are happening within the Uttarakhand state and outside its territory, and in that case the one of the party should be resident of the state. The code says that non-registration of marriages does not invalidate the marriages. On the other hand, it provides for a provision of penalty. So the code says that parties failing to register their marriages can attract a penalty of up to 10,000 rupees. And false information, that is intentional provision of false information during marriage registration, may lead to 3-month jail term and a fine of up to rupees 25,000. With respect to the conduct of marriages, the code has following provisions. The code says that marriages can be conducted in accordance with the various religious and customary rites. The code also mentions various legislations with reference to the conduct of marriage ceremonies, and these legislations are Anand Marriage Act 1909, Arya Marriage Validation Act 1937, the Special Marriage Act 1954. With respect to divorce, the court has following provisions. So, no marriage can be dissolved without a court order under the provisions of Uniform Civil Code. Dissolution of marriage without a court order can lead to imprisonment of up to 3 years. One of the grounds for divorce include religious conversion. With respect to the time frame of divorce, the Uniform Civil Code prohibits the initiation of divorce proceedings within 1 year from the date of marriage. The code also has a specific provisions for women, like woman can seek divorce if the husband has been found guilty of rape or any kind of unnatural sexual offense, or if he has more than one wife. With respect to child custody, the code talks about following a divorce, the custody of child up to 5 years old remains with the mother. With respect to inheritance rights, the code has following provisions. The code abolishes the coercenary system governing ancestral property under the Hindu Succession Act 1956. The code provides for uniform succession scheme, that is, same scheme of succession now applies to both ancestral and self-acquired property for Hindus. The code also provides for intestate succession, that is, in the event of intestate succession, the bill guarantees equal property rights for the spouse, children, and parents. This is a significant departure from the existing personal laws that often limit such inherited rights. The code also talks about distribution of the property among the relatives. If there are no immediate family members, the property will be equally divided among second line relatives, especially first cousins from the paternal side. Coming to the Muslim personal law practices, the code implicitly criminalizes the Muslim personal law practices governing marriage and divorce without explicitly naming them. For example, Section 30 says that the right to remarry the divorced spouse can only be exercised without any condition. So, this effectively prohibits the practice of nikah halala. Coming to the legal provisions, Section 30, Clause 1 prohibits the imposition of conditions such as marrying a third person before remarrying the divorced spouse. And Section 32 penalizes the anyone who compels, abets, or induces adherence to such conditions before marriage. So these two sections they implicitly prohibit the nikah halala and iddat in Muslim marriages. If any person violates these legal provisions, the code provides for penalties like imprisonment for up to 3 years and a provision of fine of up to rupees 1 lakh. The Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code does not address the guardianship issues and it leaves the existing personal laws in place for issues related to guardianship. The code also does not alter the regulations governing adoption, which are governed by Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Juvenile Justice Act, as we have discussed earlier in the same video. Now we will briefly study about the concerns associated with Uttarakhand Civil Code. The code relies heavily on criminalization for enforcement. This raises significant concerns. If anybody violates the provisions of the code, it will be treated as a criminal offense, not civil offense. So this is one of the major concern associated with the bill. This criminalization is likely to affect the minority communities disproportionately, as because certain religious and customary practices of these communities are outlawed under the bill. The Uttarakhand's Uniform Civil Code facilitates the surveillance system by way of compulsory registration. So this may lead to harassment of interfaith and intercaste couples. Now we will briefly study about the experts' opinions on Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code. Following are the views expressed by Alok Prasanna Kumar, the co-founder of the Vidhi Center for Legal Policy. He argues that mandatory registration of live-in relationship is intrusive and it violates the fundamental right to privacy. He says that this requirement forces the individuals to submit themselves to the state on matters as intimate as personal relationships. Further, he says that such state level initiatives undermine the intent of Article 44 of the Constitution, which strives for uniform civil code, because different states coming up with different versions of Uniform Civil Code may defeat the whole purpose of the Article 44 of the Constitution. He highlights that having different versions of Uniform Civil Code in each state contradicts the objective of uniformity as provided in the Constitution. So this is all about Uniform Civil Code, why it is in use, Uttarakhand Uniform Civil Code, benefits of Uniform Civil Code, challenges in implementing Uniform Civil Code. Here we have provided one prelims practice question based on the topic that we have discussed. Go through the question and comment your answer. The detailed answer for this question and the detailed notes of this video is available in our WhatsApp and Telegram channel. You can download that notes by joining our WhatsApp and Telegram channel. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Till then, happy learning.